Morning! It is Wednesday, April 26th. That means it is Places of Opposites Day. And last week we had a rather large spread. There was a lot of information there, focused around your success and steps you were aware of, things you need to let go of. It was pretty cool. Last night, there's apparently a lot of information for today too, because all night long, that's what I dreamt about was this Places of Opposite spread, and I could still feel there's a lot of information downloaded. So definitely for me personally, there's a lot going on here, and I know for you as well. And I'm just praying, been clearing energy all morning, getting rid of the extra things that sometimes come in with the dream space, distraction energy, and just feeling kind of befuddled, and just clearing that out and allowing the information that was given to be there present. And I'm just really praying this will be clear for you as you receive it. So, it's still clearing. And again, Places of Opposite is typically a 10-day window. So last week, we go 3 days past. So this weekend, through today, through to next week, Wednesday. And the last week's Places of Opposite would have gone through, till today. So it really does overlap. There's a lot of reasons for that. But mostly just because the way we grow and evolve and the way time shifts, it's not on off. It flows and it merges and you grow and you evolve. And there's certain energies that'll take a while for you to process, and other ones that you'll be like, oh, yeah, I got that. So this just kind of allows things to emerge for you, fall into place, and to grow with it. So, and as I'm again setting the intent just for clarity and magic and miracles. I love magic and miracles. Miracles happen every day. Breathing is so good to us that way. We just have to recognize them. All right. So the card at the top represents our conscious state, things that are at the forefront of our mind, things that we've already allowed to arise, so we're aware of them. Sometimes it's things we obsess over, which is not as good. So top card. The bottom card is more unconscious, subconscious awarenesses, programmings that you may have been given from childhood, just the way you structure your life. Things that are kind of driving the ship that relate to what we're aware of, but we're not as aware of. So, and then to the left is the past. That's where we're coming from, our most recent experiences. It's also our mental aspect, how we process things logically, how we move. That one came up very fast. How we move through our thoughts. And to the right is where we're going, where we're headed. The future is also our emotional state, how we intuitively process things emotionally, kind of our emotional wisdom. And the center card. Sorry, is there 3 there? I'm going to reshuffle because the center card is the resolution or the theme. If you are asking a very specific question, it tends to be the resolution. This is the action you need to take. This is the way you need to focus and restructure your thoughts. If it's just a general thing that you're thinking about, then often it's the theme. It's like, oh, in case you didn't know, this is what you're working on. This is what's important. So we're going to go that card. All right. So maybe the blessings of Supreme Being, that whatever happens during this reading will benefit you in your spiritual growth, awareness, and understanding. Amen. Top card, Knight of Water. The water suit has to do with your emotions. Knights are always actions. So you are very aware that you are making emotional, I should really show you the card. Aware you are making emotional based decisions. You are taking actions based on your emotions, what feels good, what you want. And that they're telling you is okay, it's a great thing. When you take action from your emotions, and when they're truly your emotions, the things you deeply desire, the things that make you happy, then they're beautiful actions, and they're ultimately the right steps. The caution here is there are sometimes people who make decisions that are, they're fear-based. They think they're out of love, but they're really out of fear of loss, or they're really out of fear of losing control, or they're really out of fear of not being good enough. And those kind of emotional decisions, not so great. They tend to lead you down paths of despair, and not that there isn't spiritual growth down that. Paths of despair, and that can lead to profound spiritual growth, but they're saying it doesn't have to be that way, that you can actually, look at what you want to give out to the world. You can look at the things that bring you joy and make your decisions based on that. So. Okay, sorry, back to this card. There are also some of you who are looking at your romantic relationships, partnerships, things like that, and they're really saying to put your your mental dissection, your logical dissection, pros and cons, expectations out of the picture. To really evaluate this relationship, this potential relationship or your existing relationship from your heart, from what you get, how you connect. It's all about connection. How you connect, what you get, what you can give, and what you can receive from it. And if you move that emotion or that intellectual dissection out of the picture and there's nothing left, then that relationship is just a game for you. When you move that mental, intellectual process out of the relationship, if what's left is pure peace, joy, contentment, excitement, then you're on the right track. So don't let your brain distract you. All right. There's a lot in the forefront on that. Opposite of that, we have a major arcana card. This is the Justice card. On this card is Archangel Raguel. What I'm seeing is really kind of driving the ship for you, and major arcana cards are big energies. But what's driving the ship for you is that need for balance and fairness. Everything has to be fair, it has to be equal, it has to be balanced, and sometimes that need for fairness and balance will limit you. It will put you into victim games of life isn't fair, they got that, I didn't. A lot of petty drama energies. And not that balance, they're saying that balance is important. You have to strike that balance, but not to let it get into pettiness. Because in reality, life is fair. Opportunities are there. People can make whatever choices they want. All choices are not the same for everybody. Everybody's working on their own stuff. And so if it all had to be exactly equal and everybody had to follow the same timeline and do the same choices and make the same decisions, this world wouldn't work. You wouldn't work. You wouldn't even be facing these things. So yes, life is fair. Don't be obsessed by the drama of who has what, who did what to whom. That part is not what you want to work on. That part just becomes the distraction. and the pain. All right. And so to the left, this is where we're coming from, what our mental thought processes are, how we're processing things intellectually. And we have the Queen of Water. This is a personality card. So I'm seeing that this is actually a person that is either you, and for some of you, you will recognize this as you, and for others, you will recognize this as a person that immediately as I describe it, you know who I'm talking about. And this is coming up as a very strong woman. She's forceful in that you can't stop her. She's not a pushover. Not so much forceful as, always in your face pushing you, although sometimes, but really she's got this huge, deep passion. And so she expresses that for the things that she is passionate about, the things that touch her heart, the things that are important to her, you can tell. There's no question. What's important to her comes out immediately, and just that's what she almost wills into being, the things that she's passionate about. She goes forth and she makes them happen. And she also has this amazing ability to express herself through that and to show deep commitment and love through that. And she doesn't take it well at all if you do not share the same level of commitment and passion to something. She might view you as wishy-washy if your level of commitment or passion does not match hers, which may not be fair. And again, fairness comes up because you may just be different than that. But that's, let's see. So coming from the left, this is a person that maybe has guided you a lot in your life, or that you recognize you've worked really hard to bring things to being. And as you're looking at the actions that you want to take from your heart, do you have this kind of passion for it? So moving to the right, this is our emotional wisdom, where we're headed to on the timeline, as well as how we process things through our intuition. So, and here we have the Knight of Air. And again, Knights are action cards. So these are the actions you want to take through thoughtfulness. You want to think them through. And I always find it ironic when air cards show up in the emotional wisdom. But sometimes it's balancing our emotions against our intellect. And I see that where these two actions may be the same action. It's just you're aware of it coming from your heart. You're aware of it coming from what you care about, or just because it feels right to you. And now you're applying some intellectual thoughtfulness to that emotional wisdom. And it's looking at the action plan that your heart wants to take, but also thinking it through and looking at consequences of certain pathways or how people will react, and knowing how you will handle that. So a little bit less impulsive, although very quick. I mean, these things, this is quick action. So that's what I'm seeing there is just applying the intellect to the emotional decision, but definitely it's go time. You're going to take action. And it may just be that what you're trying to decide, it's just about a decision. You were trying to make a decision, and your heart's telling you one thing, and you're trying to see if it matches up with what your mind says makes sense. And your mind is still set in what you're passionate about. And in the center, the resolution or theme, we have King of Air. This is another personality card. This personality is somebody who can see all of the sides of the story, can see all of the possibilities, all the actions, all the reactions, and they all make sense. And so sometimes this feels like indecision because that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, all makes sense. How do I make sense of it? Well, you make sense of it through your emotional wisdom. You make sense of it through your intuition. You make sense of it through just making the best choice that you can, seeing all the sides of it. And again, this card astrologically is Libra, as is this major arcana card that was in the bottom. And, Libra represents balance. So it's trying to make a balanced decision. It's trying to take balanced action. Again, we're seeing emotions and intellect in action. Just a lot of things going on here that it looks like you are really working hard to make a decision and make the right decision and have it be right from all perspectives. And that may be a little bit of ego talking that you just don't want to be wrong. But I can see where it's truly coming from a place where you want to make sure that the choice you make makes sense to you on all levels. And, Archangel Raguel, excuse me, he is the archangel that kind of helps with divine timing and divine inspiration. Well, not so much inspiration, divine timing, but working things out so that things flow harmoniously. He also helps with relationship harmony. So if your question today is about a relationship decision and you don't know whether to go, whether to stay, whether this person you're interested in is really the right fit for you, I can see where this is just a big decision for you. And you have to look at it from your heart. If you were to take all of the if you were to take away all of the mental shoulds, woulds, coulds, analytical bit, if you were to take all that away and you look at just the emotion of it, how do you feel? If you take away all of the ways that they fit into your life, or all of the logical arguments for what makes this relationship work, and you're left with the feelings of peace, harmony, joy, that's where you want to go. That's your emotional wisdom. Okay? If you take away all those mental aspects of what makes sense logically, and you are left with emptiness or dissatisfaction or just wanting it back because, well, it just makes sense to your brain, then that is probably not the decision you want to go to. Because what I'm seeing here is all air and water. I'm seeing emotion and thought and the way you want to plan your life and what makes sense to yourself. You want them to merge together. And if you remove one aspect of that, let's do it the other way around. If you move all the emotions away, all of the passion, all the excitement, all the thing, and you look at it and it just is a terrible plan, then you have to look at that as, how do I bring the plan that I have, how do I bring the decision that I have into alignment with what makes sense. And usually it's easier to change our thoughts and to change our plans, to change our emotions. Truly, God gave us our emotions as our internal compass. And we can easily muck that up with thoughts. We can also easily rationalize or do things in an impulsive way because they feel good that don't make sense. So I just see it's all about balance. It's making a balanced decision and it's taking action. And I'm telling you, this action is coming up and it'll happen fast. So this time to think through these things and to look at your emotional wisdom and to look at your plans, that's now, right now. Today is Wednesday. I'm talking, you've probably already started the process. Maybe through the last weekend, you're like, I need to make a decision. You start looking at these. You have a limited time to really focus on bringing your emotions and your thoughts into balance into one plan of action, because there's going to be something that requires action in the near future, and you're going to have to make it fast. So if you are a type that needs time to make a decision, take your time now to think about it. Think about it from all the aspects. Think about it from all the perspective. Think about how different people are going to react. Know their reactions. It doesn't mean you have to change your action, but just be aware of how they're going to react and how that affects where you're going. And you can call on Archangel Raguel to help you maintain harmony with whatever decision you take and help you with the divine timing, those things. And when you make a decision, the way you present it to whoever's in your life that's affected by it also, you can present it gently. It doesn't have to be the whack of a sword or the explosion of a, this is what I'm doing. It can be something that you explain, or you don't have to explain it at all. You can just take the actions you need to take knowing that that's right for you. So, big decisions coming up. I see for several of you, this has to do with your own internal valuation on actions you want to take for your home life and your career, and balancing what you think you should do with what you really want to do. And there's 2 or 3 of you where this is purely about relationship. Is this person the right person? Is this a relationship I want to follow? Do I want to end this other relationship to start a new one? And that's a tougher question. And that's where you're really going to have to know where you are coming from on this relationship. If it's, again, look at it mentally, look at it emotionally. Separate the two. If emotionally it brings you peace and harmony and you just feel utter contentment, it's probably the right thing. If you take that apart and yes, there's excitement, but you feel empty after you take away all the logical reasons for doing it, it's probably not right. Conversely, if you look at all the logical reasons and it makes good sense, then that's probably a good plan as long as it matches up with the emotional desire. If you take away all the emotional desire and you look at your plan and it makes no sense, there's no logic to it, you probably want to evaluate what ways you can make a better plan for enacting what you want. Use your emotional compass. Peace, harmony, excitement, joy. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. Those are the things that are truly of the Spirit. And when they're present, it's the right thing. When they're not present, no matter how much sense it seems to make, it's the wrong way to go. So, hope that offered you some clarity, some guidance. Looks like a big decision week coming up. Actions are going to happen. And it looks like, today's Wednesday. I think for many of you, that decision point is going to come before the weekend or over the weekend. There'll be a couple of you who get a little bit more grace time to play with it, as of Monday or Tuesday, but it's really going to come quick. So take the time you need to look at it now. Take the time to find your balance, what makes sense to you mentally, emotionally, bring them together in harmony so that you can go forward. Be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow for the daily reading, I hope, and if not, we'll see you next Wednesday for another Places of Opposites. And as always, if you have comments or questions, you can leave them here. You can, if you feel like you need a little bit more in-depth information on this one-on-one, you can always go onto my scheduling site via Facebook. There's a link to book now, or there's, you can just search Limitless Spirit and it should come up on 10to8.com for booking sessions, and I can put a link in the description too. So take care, and we'll see you later.